What's going on, guys? Hey, so we have an interesting video today, kind of a different topic, but what we're going to be talking about today is what do you do when your side hustle starts earning you money so that you don't get smoked on taxes? Okay, so right now, there's a lot of people earning more money, whether it's on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. People are selling pictures of feet. There's OnlyFans. There's pressure washing businesses showing up everywhere. I've had 14 kids ask to wash my windows in the past week. There's people making money all over the place. I have a YouTube channel. I also have a Turo business, and those are aside from my main job. So, you know, we're going to go into some best practices that can help you set yourself up for success and use that secondary income or third income or however many generating income streams you have. How can we set you up for the future? All right, so first things off, I'm not a wealth manager, credit counselor, financial advisor. I'm just a guy on YouTube that invests publicly every day. Okay, so with that out of the way, um, I want to talk about some of the differences between primary income and secondary income, right? If you have a W 2 paid job, like a daily job, you work at McDonald's, right? McDonald's pays you a check. And when they do that, they take out taxes. Okay. So they're taking out taxes. They're going to offer you things like 401k plans and investing opportunities and healthcare and all that stuff. Okay. But a lot of people right now are making so much money on the internet or with their independent businesses, they don't have those opportunities. And when you're new to something like this, when you're new to just making money by yourself, it's hard to know what to do with it. Where do I put this money? Do I just spend it and hope that it's fine? Or how can I set myself up um, successfully? There's also a lot of people who get those taxed paychecks and then they go off and they'll start a Turo business, right? So now they're pulling in all this money and, what do I do with that? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to dive in here and we're going to go over a couple key things, very basics to a little more complicated, to cover you so that you're set for the future. All right. Step one is open a checking and savings account with the intention of having all business transactions go through those accounts. Okay. I know this sounds like an unnecessary step, but just think about it, right? In your normal everyday checking account that you've probably had for years, you have Uber Eats going out of that thing. You've got random paychecks coming in. You got Venmos in and out. It's a disaster, right? Set up a new checking and a savings account with it so that all of your income from your side hustle, whether it's YouTube payments, whether it's donations from Twitch, whether it's invoices from clients, whatever that is, set that up and have only your money from your business go into that. Okay. That's also where you're going to pay out expenses. If you're going to pay yourself from that account and that will get sent to your personal accounts. But it's really good to see how much money is actually coming in a month. It becomes much easier to track that way. It also becomes much easier to set you up in your business down the road. Step two, now that you have your checking and savings set up specifically for that side hustle, change nothing. Okay. For the next 2 months, you want to just grind it out, do what you're doing, have that money all show up. When that money shows up in your account, transfer it from your checking to the savings account that you're still using for your business. A lot of times, those checking savings combos, the savings will earn like 3% interest right now. So you'll make some money on your money, but don't change anything. See how much money you actually have coming in, because you're going to need to start adjusting your daily lifestyle budget as well as prepare for expenses that come with high earnings. All right. So for 2 months, you're going to very closely monitor how much money do you realistically expect to make in a month while paying out expenses. Okay. So for 2 months, you're going to monitor that. You're going to get a detailed, itemized statement that says, I took in $10,000 a month and I spent $3,000 a month, right? That remaining 7 grand that you're kicking over to savings, that is how much income you're making after expenses. Okay. So that's what we're going to try to figure out. It's going to take about 2 months to get a real grasp on that figure. But once you do, it's time for step 3. All right. So now that we know how much money we're taking in after expenses, we got to figure out the budget. Okay. So I have 2 different charts for this. I'm going to focus first on the secondary income. So if you have a day to day job, you pick up, you start selling feed picks or whatever you do, boom. All right. This is your secondary income. All right. So the way I have this broken down is a 40-40-20 split. Okay. So 40% of the money that you take in, you should invest. 40% of the money you need to save. And then 20% of it, you should enjoy having more income. Okay. I'm not one of those guys who's going to tell you that, lifestyle inflation is the worst thing ever, because lifestyle inflation can happen and you can enjoy buying another car, maybe taking an extra trip, as long as you're responsibly saving and responsibly investing in the future. Not everyone wants to retire when they're 25 years old. You know what I mean? A lot of us want to live it up, have a good time. And that's a lot easier said when you know that you're saving more than you're spending on the Gucci bag or, the new car or the motorcycle or whatever. So that's how this whole thing's set up. Now, all you have to do with this little calculator that I've created, you just enter the income. So let's say, the average income that you made in the first 2 months of your side hustle is $1,000, right? You're just starting out, you're brand new, right? We don't really have a game plan yet, but you have $1,000 that you've made, and boom, here it goes. All right. So if you're making $1,000 a month, this says you should invest 400 bucks. You should save 400 bucks. And we'll explain why that's different. And then you should take 200 bucks and have some fun with it. All right. So go pick yourself up something nice. So the difference between investment and savings, at least in this example, is investments are setting yourself up long term for the future. That's something that you're always gonna have. You're gonna invest in something, and that's your retirement. That's your end game. That's, I don't have to do any of these things anymore. Versus savings in this case is because you're gonna have to pay for something inevitably. In this case, taxes. Okay. When you make that extra $1,000 a month of income on YouTube or whatever you're doing, it doesn't mean you don't pay taxes on that, guys. Plus, you're going to pay taxes on a higher income bracket, usually because it's money that you're making after you've already gotten paid for your last job, right? So you want to save at a pretty high rate of that just so that you don't get smoked. You know what I mean? You don't want to go and make $1,000 a month on YouTube, and then you spend 600 bucks on it on Jordans. You invest 400 bucks, and you're like, sweet, I invested. I bought some Jordans. I'm feeling good. And then the tax time comes around. You're like, oh my god, I owe $400 a month for the past year. Like, I don't want to get a tax bill for $4,800 at the end of the year. All right. So this is why we have that new checking and that new savings set up for the business. Okay. Because right off the rip, 40% of what you're taking in from whatever your side hustle is, you should be dumping that into the savings account for the business, which is accruing interest. You're getting paid for having that money in there. So at the time that, Uncle Sam comes around and he's like, hey, you owe me taxes, you say, not a problem. Here it is, right? No worries. Pay the taxes. Good to go. Okay. So, yeah, that's a big reason of why this is the way that it is. Investment, 400 bucks is the total. I think that $300 of that should go into stocks based on this model, and then 100 of that should go back into your channel. So one thing that I recently did was I started my YouTube channel. It started picking up a little bit, and I was like, I need a new camera, I need a new mic, I need a new ring light, I need stuff, right? That money, fortunately, I have. So it wasn't a big deal. But channels grow, right? Look at Mr. Beast. That guy has tons of people working for him, right? That's because he's reinvesting in his channel, and that's in his brand. Okay. So that money, he has to invest that into his branding. Otherwise, it would collapse. And I guarantee you he's saving more money aside for taxes than $400. But then on the flip side, we have some fun, right? I don't expect people to just make money just to set it aside for their future and set it aside for their savings. It's not realistic. And you can see how this scales. If we say that, your side hustle takes off, you're making 10 grand a month because you're doing other stuff, right? And this is assuming it's a secondary income, right? Now you get 2 grand a month to just blow on stupid stuff. You're saving $4,000 a month for your taxes. You're investing $300 into the stock market for your future, and you're reinvesting $1,000, whether it's purchasing ads or you have someone doing thumbnails for you or whatever. You're investing back into your channel to continue to grow your income. So that's how it scales. That's what I mean by lifestyle inflation doesn't have to be terrible. It just has to be on par with your savings inflation, right? Where this becomes really dangerous is if you make 10 grand in a month and you go, whatever, I'll make 10 grand next month on the channel. Let me just go throw this down in a Maserati real quick, right? Well, now you didn't save the $4,000 that month, or you didn't reinvest in your brand, or you didn't put anything in for the stock market so that you can retire from one of your multiple jobs, right? So, just kind of the way that I look at it, right? Maseratis are fine if you like them, but you know, the whole thing is you don't want to have two incomes, and it's not great. You want to pick one job and work it and enjoy it. Unless you want to have like 40 jobs, that's fine too. But all right, so now we're going to run the same scenario, but on my primary income calculator. You can see that this is a lot more complicated, okay? Because if you only have one source of income, you now need to cover your basics like your food, your car, your house, your utilities, healthcare, all that stuff. All right. So let's see what happens when we take that same 10 grand a month, right? You've gone big, you're doing it up. You're going to see how everything sort of shifts over. So, first of all, you only have one source of income. So, you're not earning this income on top of like a tax bracket that you already exist in. So, you don't need to save necessarily as much in that high interest savings account. You don't need to save as much because, again, you're not stacking this money on top of money you're already paying taxes on. All right. So, investment, you're going to invest a little bit less. Based on 10 grand, you're going to put about 15% of what you make into the stock market, and you're going to put 5% back into branding and all that. For your basics, if you have one source of income and you're self-employed, you really want to make sure that your basics or your essentials are on a lower price, I guess. So like, 40% of what you earn should cover you for everything essential. So that should be your house, your transportation, your utilities, your healthcare costs, your groceries. I always leave in miscellaneous, which is $300 because there's always something that pops up, right? There's always something. If nothing does pop up, great. Roll that $300 in this scenario over to the next month. Right? Just roll it. But like, you don't want your house to be more than 45% of the 40% you set aside for basics, right? Transportation should be 20%, or sorry, 10% of your 40%. So like 4% of your income, right, should go to your car or the bus pass or whatever that may be. Utilities in the same boat. Like that comes down to subscriptions. Me personally, I put utilities, that's also my Netflix, that's also Crunchyroll, Hulu, whatever you guys have. You don't need all this stuff. Like, I don't even have cable at my house. We just don't watch it. If there's something I want to watch or there's a game I really want to watch, I'll dip into my fund. I'll go to the pub, I'll grab a Guinness, and I'll watch a Raiders game. You know what I mean? Like, if I really want to go watch something, I'll go to the pub and watch it. But that's so rare that there's something that I like want to see that bad. It's just crazy what we end up paying for. And then here you're going to set 10% of your money aside for fun, right? 10% should be way more than enough to cover you for fun stuff outside of like, everyday activity. But $1,000 for fun is just ridiculous. Um, but this whole thing scales. So let's say you blow up and you're making 20,000 a month. Like, now you're saving a lot more money in investments. You're saving a lot. This is where the chart kind of goes a little wonky because a lot of people inflate this basics column, and there's really no reason to inflate this basics column. Myself personally, as my income grew, my basics stayed the same. So I added more to investment. So that's a big focus on my channel, is trying to invest in the stock market so I can retire in the next 12 years. But that's a big thing for me. And, some people want to have this whole big nice house and all that, but like, at the end of the day, who cares? I'm like out doing stuff all the time anyway. So it's like, when am I home? The same thing with fun, like $2,000 a month in fun. Like, who needs $2,000 a month to have fun? And really, if you're making 20 grand a month, you probably don't have time to spend 2 grand a month on fun. I know I don't. I mean, I'm gonna take a trip in February. I have one planned in April. So like, yes, I'll have fun, and those cost money, but like, 2 grand a month's a lot to just kind of like blow on fun. But so I would try to figure out a budget. Basically, that's all that I'm saying. 20% should go to investing. 30% should go into savings to cover you from taxes, or help cover you for taxes. 40% should go into your basics, and 10% should go to just like blow it on whatever you want and don't worry about it. All right. So that's my general breakdown of step 3. Come up with a budget that's sustainable, but at least make 30%, or 30 to 40% should be set aside right off the rip for taxes. Step 4, get a financial advisor and a tax person. Okay. A lot of you guys, I know you might be seeing this and you're like, okay, well, I just made $300 off of my Twitch stream, so I'm really not like trying to talk to a tax person. It doesn't matter. Just go talk to one because you would be surprised at how much money you can save, right? So when it comes to taxes, a lot of things that we don't think about actually end up being write-offs. And the reason why that's such a big deal is you're setting up an account or a savings account where you're going to put 40% of your income into it. All right, 30 to 40%. So once that has a balance at the end of the year, whatever that balance is, you're kind of expecting to just give it all to Uncle Sam, right? So one thing that the tax person's going to do is lower how much you actually have to send in. So for instance, if I have a gaming stream and this year I had to buy a $3,000 gaming rig so that I could have a better frame rate and do better video content and not lag on stream, like, you might get to write that off. Like, there's a totally valid reason that you would be able to write that off. And I think a lot of tax personnel are looking for things like that to help you maximize your savings and minimize how much of your savings you have to pay out to Uncle Sam. All right. Now on the same token, financial advisor, right? You're investing a large portion of your income. If it's a secondary income, you should be investing 40% of what you're making. That's a lot of money, right? I want to make sure that my lot of money is put in the right place. And just keep the good guys honest. Like, I am not a financial advisor. Now, I have a YouTube channel and I invest all the time, and we talk about investing and people put in comments and stuff, and it's fun. It's great, right? I think it's really motivating for myself. I know that it's motivating to others because I've been texted. It's great. It keeps me going. People put in the comments, whatever. But I'm not a financial advisor. Like, I think that I have figured it out, but that doesn't mean that I have. Like, I don't work for BlackRock. I'm not a billionaire. I'm a guy. Look, my office is a big triangle. Like, what even is this room? You know what I mean? Like, guys, come on, let's be real here. But talk to somebody, okay? And talk about your investment goals and what you want, right? Do you want to grow a large sum of wealth? Do you want to set it up so that you're getting paid, monthly for the rest of your life? Like, what do you want to do? So, my personal portfolio, how I've set it up for me, is I receive an average dividend yield of 6.9% a year, which means if I have $1 million in my investing account, I'll earn $69,000 in payouts every year. So, if that's what you want, great. If you want to have just a massive portfolio of a ton of stocks and one day you'll sell it all and move to the Bahamas, like, great, do you. But you're not going to achieve that as quickly as possible unless you talk to someone who does do that professionally. So please go do that. Yeah, do that. All right, so for step 5, we're going to go to handy dandy Microsoft Paint, which is like and subscribe. Guys, thank you for watching my video. If you find this helpful, please throw a like on it, give it a share to your other creator friends. But hopefully you find it useful. With that, roll the outro.